what's up, y'all? We're back here with the Aaron Growing Podcast, and I'm here with my guest. We're just going to be talking about the time of the protest here in Indianapolis, and we're going to be giving a different number of views, of perspectives of everyone, and we're going to share everyone's opinion. So we're just going to let you guys know who our guests are and what they're involved with. So we'll start with you, Markel.
All right. Hello, my name is Markel. I'm 23. I'm an African-American male. I live in Indianapolis, Indiana. I graduated high school with Eron, or from North Central, where I met Eron, and I'm currently pursuing an engineering degree. Yeah, so.
Avni, let's get to you.
Hey everybody, I'm Avni Hart. I just graduated Butler University with marketing degree and a small focus in music business. I go way back with Eron to elementary school, and I am a Black woman, 22, born and raised in Naptown, Indiana. Here to just kind of ensure that the city is on a positive route to change.
Mary Kate.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mary Kate. I just recently graduated from Indiana University with a major in journalism and a focus in sports broadcasting. And I know Eron from high school, so thanks for having me. And I think that right now the importance of white allyship is really, at the forefront of my mind. And I'm consistently looking to better educate myself and learn how I can be a better ally, not only just on, social media and performative allyship, but in the real world and offline. So I'm really excited to be here and to listen to everybody and just have a really good, honest conversation with each other.
Taylor.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Taylor Hall. I go to Ball State University, and I'm studying communications. I'm the president of Men and Women of Color at Ball State University. And in Indianapolis, I'm currently helping organize events and peaceful protests with other women inside of the community.
Martin.
What's going on, everybody? So my name is Martin. I'm 22 years old, from Hammond, Indiana. And I just graduated from Grace College, which is towards Fort Wayne, with a bachelor's degree in management, and also I'm pursuing my master's right now. So I'm getting my MBA, which will be done in August. So right now I'm currently working with the mayor, the chief of police, the lieutenant, to try to just die down these protests that's going on in my city right now, because it's getting kind of crazy and hectic. So looking forward to this conversation.
Deja.
Greetings all. My name is Deja Eli. I go by Day. I'm 21. I am a proud activist whose purpose is to do everything in my power to raise the consciousness of myself, but also others in the community, and to uplift, you feel me, and just create peace. I've always been a rebellious spirit, and after my friend Drajon Reed was senselessly murdered by the IMPD, a new flame was sparked inside of me. You feel me? I've always been a rebel with a cause, but after that, I have a cause for sure, and I'm willing to devote my life to strategize, organize for the cause. I'm willing to go to war for the cause. I'm willing to die for the cause. All of that, I'm for it. So that's me.
So we're going to start this question off right now with Markel and Martin, being two Black males here in Indiana. Talk about your two experiences, racist things that you have dealt with and have experienced in your lifetime.
I'll start. Personally, being inside the age bracket that seems to be like the typical demographic for, the ones who have been served injustice, typically around from 35 to 16, I could say, is the age. And me being 23 right now, I can say that pretty much fits my experience. Once I started hitting the age of puberty, like when your voice changed, you start, hanging out with your friends and stuff in society without parents, you start seeing the way people tend to speak to you. The things you encounter just tend to be a little different, such as going into stores, small stores like CVS's or Walgreens, where, the idea where clerks can still see you. You can see as people follow you down aisles with excuses of putting stuff away. You walk past cars and you hear doors lock. Like, it's the small things that make such a huge difference that, you know, people don't know is going on because you don't personally experience them. But those things alone, like, make you feel, you know, some type of way within yourself. Like, you don't mean no harm. What you locking doors for? Like, why you act as if I'm the enemy or if I'm, you know, bad just because of the color of my skin?
Sure. What about you, Martin?
So for me, a lot of the instances that happened with me happened while I was in college. So in my 4 years, I experienced a lot of racism. So I tried to dial it down to about 3 stories. So one of them happened my sophomore year, which was 2017. Me and my boy was chilling, just playing 2K, and then I ended up leaving, going to sleep. And mind you, he wasn't loud at all. Woke up the next morning, he had on his door, somebody wrote on his door, "Niggas don't belong here." Now, mind you, this school we go to is predominantly, it is really all white. It's like 2,200 students, probably 20 black students. If you're a black student, typically you probably adopted to a white family or you're just an athlete. So for me, that definitely was a target towards us, because at the end of the day, it's just him in that room, and then it was me with him. So we definitely knew that it was something that was targeted towards us. I mean, a second example, I get pulled over by cops by my school all the time because I got a nice car. So they think I got a nice car. They instantly think that I'm a thug, or, you know, so I'm doing something that's illegal to get the money that I can to afford the car that I got. But luckily, God just happened to bless my family to the point we're in a position where we can have these nice cars and nice houses. So it was never about me being a thug. It was just a successful black man. That's something that they fear. So that's something definitely I guess I got like it became a norm, which is sad, but it's just the truth. That's what the reality that we living in. And then it just last story, I ain't gonna make too long-winded. But basically, I would always go in stores, like bro said, and it'll be white ladies with their kids. I walk in the store with some J's on and a hood on. They clench their kids together, talking about come towards me as if a 22-year-old gonna check their kids. Like, what I gotta do with your kids? You feel what I'm saying? So, old women clenching their purses, thinking I'm about to finesse them out some cash type deal. Like, it's been a lot of stuff that's been going on around that community. But that's just some of the small stuff that goes on around. That it's called Winona Lake, Indiana, Warsaw, Indiana. So that's a couple of experiences that I had.
All right, so we're going to go to Obney and Mary Kate. You both just graduated from predominantly white universities. Talk about some of your experiences of racism problems that you've had, you know, just over the course of the 4 years that you've been there.
So honestly, my first encounter happened when I was 17 and I was working at Pizza Hut. And this guy came in to buy his pizza that we had already made, and he took one look at the crew, which was made up of 3 black individuals, myself being one, and one Latinx individual who always worked his butt off. And he said, "I don't want this pizza from you people." And at that point in time, it didn't quite hit me what that meant and how he was using that. But that was one of the first times that I had truly been exposed to very blatant and direct racism. In college, I got it in different ways. A lot of it subliminal. When we would protest for Martin Luther King Day, we always did a love walk and protest. And there was an app a while ago that would allow you to like publish things anonymously. And they geo-fenced it, just meaning that if you were in a certain geographical area, you would get a lot of the anonymous, like we'll use tweets, but Twitter's not affiliated whatsoever, as far as I know. You'll get a lot of these anonymous like tweets or whatever from that are in the area. And on this particular day, a lot of students would say, "Somebody tell all the black kids get out of the street before they get ran over. Someone call up my dad, or no, let me call up my dad so I can get the bulldozer and bulldoze all the black kids in the street." All these black kids didn't get enough attention when they were kids, so they're yelling about it now because they just didn't get it from their mommy and daddy. A lot of that going on where I was from, or, you know, in college, I should say. And I also think, and this will be my last story, but I also think like your second connection experiences affect you as well. So my uncle grew up in a time where like he was being like aggressively handled by police, where police were looking at him and be like, if I catch you on the street again, it'll be the last time you ever get to like walk on the street. Those are like experiences that you hear that kind of affect you and kind of make you look like sideways at people. So that's been my experiences.
Mary Kate?
Yeah, so for me, obviously, I'm fortunate to not experience racism, and I would never try to speak on that on behalf of Black lives. But for me, growing up in Washington Township Public Schools and going to North Central High School, I think it's so important to acknowledge that so much of who I am is because of Black culture, Black music, Black educators, Black mentors, and then going from such a diverse community such as Indianapolis to a primarily white institution such as IU Bloomington was different for sure. But I mean, for me, I didn't experience anything negative from it. However, now seeing, you know, I'm a sports journalist. Like, we wouldn't have jobs if it wasn't, we capitalize on Black lives, Black athletes, both male and female, and seeing so many of my peers stay silent right now when so much of their success, their lives are built on the backs of Black people, has really opened my eyes. And I think that every time I try to speak out against racism, it's obviously from a white lens. And so for me, trying to filter that and trying to make sure that I'm not centering the conversation around myself, but rather just on amplifying Black voices for my predominantly white following is important, because, you know, this message needs to reach everyone, and it needs to be a constant conversation with those who agree with you and those who disagree with you. And you can't be afraid to stand up to your friends who might be wrong or might not have the same experiences that you do. And, you know, for me, that's been kind of my goal within this conversation, is to reach who I know and try to enlighten them in some way, while also not taking away from Black voices who really need to be heard right now.
All right, so Taylor and Deja, I know you personally have been in the forefront of most of the protests and have been extremely active with everything going on. Talk about your experiences from not only the George Floyd protest, which I know it's more than just one instance, it's an entire lifestyle, but, you know, talk about how everything's been since Deshaun Reed and other instances that have happened, and how has the protest been going for you too, and how has it been handling this? I'll start with you, Taylor.
All right, so for me, I first started protesting when Sean Reed was killed. I didn't personally know him, but it happened so close to my home that I was impacted, because I felt like that could have been me, that could have been one of my brothers, my father, anyone close to me. So I felt it hit me as hard as if I did know him. So I went to the protest downtown for Sean Reed, and I went to the one on 62nd in Michigan. And it just moved me, just seeing how many people could come together for that. So then to see now with George Floyd, and over the past weekend having over 2,000, 3,000 people out there coming together for all the inequality and injustice we see every day, I'm honestly speechless just talking about it. And I didn't go to the protest thinking I would be a leader or I would voice my opinion. I know if I got the opportunity to speak, I probably would, but I didn't know what I would say. But I was just so passionate in the moment. When I was standing on top of my car, I couldn't help but speak and pour out how I felt and how I wanted change in today's society, and how this hurts me every single day, because I can see that being me or my brothers or my father or any of my friends. And just my experiences with the police. I've been pulled over for no reason, and I've been in the car since I was a kid, being pulled over with my family, and my family being scared and looking at me like, don't do anything. Like the movies you see, it really happens. We have to learn not to do anything so we don't lose our lives. So I'm just tired of seeing the police do whatever they want to do and nothing happening. So I'm just going to continue to protest and continue to make legislation and laws come into effect until we can actually have a difference. And I want people to know that this is not just a trend or something for a moment. Like, we want to make actual difference and actual change from this.
Deja, what about you?
What was your specific question?
So I was pretty much talking about, talk about your experience of the protest, of everything that's been going on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, honestly, I will say I haven't been able to protest lately. I had surgery, so I haven't which is hurting me because I was there for Dre when
That's
when
what I
that,
was alluding to more of, because I know that you were there.
For sure. It was beautiful that the way people came out. I mean, he was known, so obviously, you know, a lot of people that he knew came out, but even the supporters like Tay, like what she was saying, they came out who didn't know him. It's just the fact that it's home. It's so close here. Like, that's crazy. Like, I mean, we know that this happens out in the world, but I don't know. I don't know that I knew something like that happening here. I could be wrong, but I didn't know. And so the fact that it was my friend, it was too, the fact that it's Naptown, it was way to 62nd Street, like in Michigan, like, you know, like I'd be riding over there. My friends be over there all the time. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It was surreal. It was moving, emotional for sure. But I was the same way. I I didn't know that I would have this calling, because this is what this is, a calling, and it stemmed from Dre. But I'm thankful for it, and because I want to change. We need to change. Like the protesting, the way that our ancestors was doing it wasn't working. So I feel like we're the time, we're the generation, like, to make the change. We're gonna make it change. Period. I will. So that's where I'm at.
So going back to Martin and Markel, being a Black man, what do you see? And obviously, we are the target of where most of this is coming from. So pretty much just talk about what needs to be accomplished. Like, what do you feel needs to happen to feel comfortable and to have a better understanding, and to, you know, like, where do you see an end goal and purpose of this? I'll start with you, Markel.
I guess, like, just simply the idea of people or the police getting equal time for equal crimes. Like, they shouldn't get let off for things that we know are wrong. It shouldn't be proof and background history of doing things, and then you still get no consequence for it. Like, no one wants, or at least I don't personally feel like, you know, a life for a life, but I do believe that you should go to jail for that, at least minimal. Like, the idea to begin like just a few years over killing somebody, like, we talk about, at least I know a lot of athletes speak on the idea of Michael Vick went to jail for fighting dogs. Like, no offense to people who have dogs that they love. We all have pets that, you know, feel like family. But an animal's life should never equal more than a human life in my eyes. And the idea that he served his time years and his life was greatly affected from the simple fact of him having that incident. But then we have people who take lives of another human and they don't have consequences for it. Like, that's like the ultimate spit in the face. Like, if you talk about like the idea of someone telling you that your life does not matter, that's definitely like the tip of the iceberg for me. Like, can we just get incidents where they actually do end up, you know, having repercussions? Can we stop anticipating them getting off? Because there still hasn't been a verdict for Floyd. The scary thing is that we still have to wait to think that it's bad right now. But what if the verdict is what it typically is? That's all I have to say on it.
Oh, yeah. And this is a twofold question for Martin, and then we're going to go to Deja. You two obviously played college athletics along with me. What have you guys also been seeing in terms of the support or the lack of support in terms of, you know, in terms of administration and coaches? Have you heard anything from your coaches, you know, et cetera?
Definitely. So do you want me to tackle the first question that you gave?
Yeah, first question, then second, then we'll go to Dave.
Cool. I'll make it short for you. I think that it's definitely a thing where the police got to have an open heart to receive what we got to say, and also have an open mind to receive what else we got to say too. And I think that's the underlying issue with it all, is that, man, we out here just trying to protest peacefully, but y'all don't have an open heart to hear what we got to say. They listen to respond, but they don't listen to understand and actually hear what we got to say. And I think that's why I come in from my city in Hammond, is the fact that I got clout to where I can talk to the mayor and I can talk to the chief of police, because they all live in my subdivision. So I'm like, let's sit down and have an open conversation. Let's sit down and talk about why y'all look so intimidating when y'all got these riot shields. Y'all out here shooting shooting people when all they're trying to do is with their hands up, just trying to protest. Let's talk about why you inflicting all this stuff on us, and y'all using this badge to basically use that as an excuse to do what y'all doing. Because at the end of the day, they committing the crime. So let us have some rubber bullets. Let us have some tear gas. And if roles will be reversed, you feel what I'm saying? So this is the stuff that I'm going to bring up tomorrow morning when I had this meeting with the mayor, when I had this meeting with the lieutenants and the chief of police. I'm telling them, I'm going to be real. Like, at the end of the day, your men and your women out there that's on the front line, which is all white, at the end of the day, y'all look more intimidated just because y'all got these shields and stuff that's going on. And all we got is just our hands and milk. And milk. When have you ever heard of a high demand of milk till now? You feel what I'm saying? Like, that blows my mind, but I ain't going to get all into that. But then on the secondly, as far as the athletic end, personally with my school, my head coach and my assistant coach reached out to me and just to make sure that I was cool. So I definitely do appreciate that. But a couple of my brothers on the team ain't said a word at all. And this is how I feel. People can have their own opinion. If you don't say nothing at all or you neutral, you're a part of the problem. That's just how I feel. Because at the end of the day, this wrong is wrong. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you got to stand up for something. It's a lot of people that's out here just scrolling on social media, but they're not voicing their opinion. You just part of the problem at this point. Because it's like, if you ain't with us, you against us type deal. So for the athletic standpoint and stuff, the community that I went to, they kind of been outspoken, but some of them just been real conservative. And I feel like if you're conservative with this stuff, you're just a part of the problem.
All right, Deja, let's.
Room for growth. I think the news wants to swing it however they want to swing it, and that's how they always handle the situations. From picking and choosing what they want the world to see. And I'll give you a quick story. Like, I'm not really, when Drayshawn Reed was murdered, I'm not really sure if they understood how much the world knew before they got on the news and spun whatever story they tried to spin. And secondly, there was two groups of protesters of the protest that happened this Sunday. One was with my church, but I go to a predominantly white church that's trying to be more multicultural. And somehow we got on the news because we're praying. But while this is happening down at the fountain, there's a group of Black Christians praying, and they're pepper sprayed, and they are kind of just like there's just a lot of escalation of violence going on, and I just can't help but feel like that race plays a part in that. So I do think that they're trying. They're trying. But I'm always more curious about the placement of their efforts.
All right, let's go to you, Mary Kate.
Yeah, to me as a journalist, it's been interesting as well seeing, like Avni said, what's covered and what's not covered. To me, I've seen a lot of journalists try to focus the narrative around them and saying, oh, journalists' rights are being infringed upon. Journalists should be able to cover this, but they're being sprayed with pepper spray and they're being shot with rubber bullets. Well, that's not really the point. They're taking the narrative away from what actually matters. And to me, that's incredibly frustrating. And, back to what Martin said, in my opinion, if you aren't speaking up, you are on the wrong side. And I might not always have the perfect thing to say. I will never be able to walk a day in a Black person's shoes. But at the same time, I can do everything in my power to try to educate myself, try to learn from the community that is suffering and speak up about it. And as a sports journalist, so many sports journalists are white, so many sports fans are white, and your favorite, oftentimes your favorite athletes to cover, your favorite athletes to root for are Black. And that's a multi-billion-dollar industry that is consumed by billions of people and people still that enjoy it and capitalize on it are not speaking up about Black lives. And to me, it doesn't matter if it's an athlete that you respect or not. It doesn't matter. All Black lives matter. And to me, it's just been frustrating to see how many people have been silent. And in my opinion, maybe saying the wrong thing and then getting educated on it from people that you respect and people that know what they're talking about is better than not saying anything at all.
Taylor.
Okay, for me, I would say I've been watching a lot of CNN, and I like how they're covering. I like how the reporters are coming out and saying how they feel about it. And I really love the Kumo brothers and how they're speaking about everything. But a lot of news outlets aren't showing both sides of the protests and riots. I'd say a lot of news outlets are showing just the riots and the destruction. They're moving away from the peaceful protests and just showing, well, in Indianapolis, they rioted and broke all this stuff, but they didn't show, oh, on Saturday from 4 o'clock all the way until 9 o'clock, there was thousands of people out in the city peacefully protesting. There was speakers, there was marches, there was people of all races, all denominations, people from all different backgrounds coming together, passing out waters to make a change. They didn't show any of that. They just showed all the riots from Saturday. So I think a lot of news outlets are just focusing on the bad and not the good of the protest. And they're not separating the protests. Like you see on Twitter, like all the different white people that are coming out and breaking things, and you see the undercover police officers going into riots and going into spray painting all the different buildings and stuff, and they're not showing that on the news. They're just showing all the black rioters and all the destruction that they made, when a lot of it has not been made by them. So, and then with media and celebrities, I'd say you can see all the different celebrities that are not using their platforms for what is going on, and a lot of celebrities have been canceled, like on all forms of social media. We'll see if that stays after all of this is done with, but we can't look up to celebrities because they're not using their platforms to say anything, and a lot of them have been pushed to say more, so they feel like they're forced to make a statement, but I don't really think it's genuine. So